BODDAMN. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 3 really powerful triggers that you can be pulling to lose more weight for the summer. What's going on, guys and gals? Chris with the BODDAMN channel. This channel is all about food, fitness, and how to live an active, healthy lifestyle. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you a really quick, brief overview, kind of like a bird's eye view of how I look at weight loss and getting shredded for the summer. It's sort of like the 3 things that I would definitely put into place if I wanted to get there. Now, where I am right now, I'm 46 years old. I'm probably around 13 to 14% body fat, and I do these things, every single time of the year. But sometimes I accelerate these things in the summertime to get a really chiseled physique. You know what I'm saying? So don't forget to follow me on Instagram at BODDAMN, and there's also another weight loss guide that'll be the first link down below. You should go check it out, okay? It'll give you some great tips outside of these 3 that I think you really need to implement if you're looking to really start getting a leaner, chiseled physique for the summertime. The first thing I would say right now is you probably want to look into fasting. I think fasting is a great thing to do. That'll be tip number 1. And intermittent fasting is something that I've been doing for 10 years now, okay? And it might be a little weird to consider skipping your first meal of the day. And that's pretty much what people do when they're talking about intermittent fasting. They're almost implying that they're doing what's called a 16-8. It's a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window, okay? So let me kind of explain that a little bit more. Essentially, when I start really eating food, I eat it between about 12 o'clock and about 8 to 8:30, okay? So that's like my 8-hour window to eat food. And when I eat food, I usually have what's called a 2.5. That's just what I've been preaching forever, and it really works really well. Now, 2.5 basically means 2 really big meals and then a half kind of snack meal in the middle. So my first big meal will obviously be the first thing at 12 o'clock, and then we're gonna have a really big meal around 8 or 8:30, hopefully loading up with a lot of carbs, that kind of stuff, assuming that you're gonna have a workout the very next day. And then that half meal is somewhere around 4 to 5 o'clock or something like that. It's going to be a half-size meal, maybe a medium-sized meal, and it could be a really loaded up sandwich, with some electrolytes, or it could be things like that, basically. But it wouldn't want to be as small as maybe a protein bar. That's a little too small for the half. But anyway, so I would definitely look into the power of intermittent fasting. First of all, I think it definitely allows your body to use up its resources a lot better. It allows you to clean up your mitochondria. It does give you pretty good focus. Now, my experience 10 years ago when I started intermittent fasting, it was a little scary, and I started it, and it's one of those things that you should see if it works for you. But if you're gonna see if it works for you, you wouldn't wanna do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You would wanna do it for like a month or 2 and kind of gauge your energy levels throughout the whole process, right? Sometimes intermittent fasting doesn't work out for some people, but for a lot of people, it does work out very well. And it's really convenient if you just don't wanna build that first meal and you want to do things and be busy or be an entrepreneur, or maybe you're in school or something like that. It kind of lines up perfectly with that because you don't really have to make your first meal. So it saves time in that respect as well. Now, there are a lot of benefits with intermittent fasting. Go on the internet, figure it all out. But that's the very first thing that I would do if you want to get lean and chiseled, is start telling your body, like, no more snacking, like no more any of this kind of stuff. Find yourself an eating window. A 16-8 is pretty much the most popular eating window. And then I would definitely kind of adhere to that as much as possible. And I always say, like, the easiest way to kind of adhere to that is to do what's called plus and minus 1 hour. So that basically means you can open up your eating window maybe at 11 some days, close it off at 7. You could open up your eating window maybe at 1 and then close it off at 9 or 9:30. Because obviously we want to live a life too, and we want to go out and eat dinner sometimes as our cheat meals. Maybe we want to stay out a little later than normal and go out with our friends. So you can kind of bend it a little bit here and there, but you want to adhere to it as much as possible to see if the benefits really work out for you. Now, I think for me, in my physique, it absolutely works out very well because it prevents me from like overeating. It definitely trains me to have discipline, it's a habit, and it's not actually inconvenient by any means. It's more convenient than anything in my life, and I love it. But it does allow me to flood my body with a lot of protein on those 2 big meals, So I'm looking at having 70 to sometimes 90 grams of protein in those 2 big meals, and then that half meal kind of has like 30 or 40 grams. So it kind of paints a picture of like how I'm looking at those 2.5 kind of meals. Intermittent fasting, definitely my number 1 tip. Number 2 is you're gonna wanna do some cardio for sure. Like, cardio is super important. Now, people that don't wanna spike up their hunger a little bit will probably say, do LISS, low intensity, steady state cardio. This is the reason why you see a lot of bodybuilders on little incline machines or walking for very long periods of time. I don't really preach that, but it does work, and it doesn't spike your hunger very much. I always say eat for the kind of lifestyle that you want. And the lifestyle that I want is a lifestyle where I do cardio, if not every day. I would do cardio 6 times a week, you know, and have 1 day off. And I think when people think about cardio, they're thinking of like really rigorous training, and I don't really subscribe to that either. When I look at my cardio, I'm looking at like a 30 to 45 minute bike ride in Mother Nature, you know, on biking and walking paths, like hauling ass, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm looking at mountain biking. I'm looking at skateboarding. I don't really have a time aspect to my cardio, but I make sure to do it nearly every single day. I think that really helps with getting a lean physique. It helps with your cortisol reduction because you're looking around, you're having fun. But if you're doing cardio that is miserable, then I can see how you won't want to do that. So finding a good cardio that you enjoy doing, whether that's, you know, snowboarding, surfing, skateboarding, mountain biking, you know, cycling just by itself. Maybe you love to run. I don't really like to run, but maybe you do, and that would be considered cardio as well. And then on top of that, if you're pressed for time during your cardio, maybe you only have 20 minutes or 30 minutes to do cardio, you know, I would say look at interval cardio too. So you can do HIIT training, you can do interval training, like where you know, set something in the distance that you can see and you go all out for like until you get to that set point, and then you kind of relax for 1 or 2 minutes, then you go all out again. And so I think that's kind of fun too every now and then. I wouldn't want to do it on every cardio session, but it definitely helps burn a lot of fat as well. So in general, you do want to at least look into doing more cardio. The third tip is going to be really obvious, okay? And that is just clean up your diet. Like, cleaning up your diet is going to be a huge thing, and prioritize protein. A lot of times if you prioritize protein, you're not really hungry for some of the other stuff. So it's protein first, then fats, then carbs, kind of in that order. If you're looking at a meal and all you do is you eat the beans and the rice and you're eating the tortilla chips and all this crap, and then the chicken breast comes your way and you just have no room for it, well, you didn't do the order correctly, you know? So I opt for high protein meals. And I source my own stuff for the most part. Now, if I'm going to go somewhere, it's usually going to be for like a cheap meal or something like that. I try to have at least 2 or 3 cheap meals a week. But this is also what can get people in trouble, is they can have cheat meals, too many cheat meals, they can have too many cheat snacks while they're watching Netflix, and everything adds up in the end. So clean up your diet, and if you're a snacky kind of person, then clean up your snacks too, okay? There are plenty of really amazing snacks that you can eat. You're probably just not eating the right ones if you're a snack head, you know? Outside of that, just clean up your diet completely. Like, start thinking about a meal prep service. If you don't have like the discipline to make your own meals or whatever like that, try to find a meal prep service that has the least amount of ingredients in whatever meals that you're buying, right? You want to stay away from like really high calorie laden things that have a lot of weird mystery oils in them, things like that, because that's where a lot of calories are, and they're just usually pretty inflammatory and bad for you in the first place, right? And that can really be discouraging if you're looking at your physique, you're doing all these things right, and then your diet's not that great. There's always hidden things that you're buying thinking it's healthy, but there's always hidden things and preservatives that really mess your body up. It doesn't act optimally, and it doesn't get the energy that it really needs to perform and start looking really good, you know? So definitely clean up your diet and look into prepping your own meals, okay? And if you can't do that, get a meal prep service that is highly perishable. And there are a lot in every single town. You know, you walk into these places, there's coolers everywhere, and you pick what you want, or you get into a subscription service or something like that. And that's for those busy type individuals that just have very little discipline when it comes to building your own meals. If you can build your own meals, then this is going to be the holy grail of losing weight, okay? I wouldn't really worry too much about the calories in, calories out kind of thing. I would worry more so about the quality of the calories going in your body. Do you feel high energy in the morning? Do you have energy throughout your workouts? And do you have energy for your cardio sessions? This is really the marker of how I look at calories, okay? So I don't really count my calories. I look at my physique, I check my brain state, am I feeling good today? Am I feeling under-rested? That means my sleep is off. Do I feel good? And if you feel good, oftentimes your diet is what's going to help you feel good. Obviously, lifting weights and like doing cardio is huge too, but diet is one of the pieces that most people F up so bad. They have no idea how bad it really affects what they want, which is usually a lean physique, chiseled for whatever trip, or they want to look good for the summer or whatever. Like, it's just good to be in a really lean, like good state. It feels better. You can move easier. It just feels better. You know what I'm saying? So I hope these tips help you out, and if they did, you can hit the like button, you can put a comment down below, and obviously there's a weight loss guide down there as well. First link, you should go pick it up and check it out. So yeah, also this other company called Radical Life that we're building out right now. And these guides are basically, you know, things that I engineered with my business partner for Radical Life. But I'm gonna tell you about them here. First link down below. Go get yourself that guide, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I'll see you on the next BODDAMN video. Take it easy. Goodbye.